All right, we're doing the Leetcode daily, number 594, longest harmonious sequence. This is the first time I'm looking at this. I've not taken a look at this yet, and we're gonna review it now and attempt it. We define a harmonious array as an array where the difference between its maximum value and its minimum value is exactly 1. Given an array nums, return the length of its longest harmonious subsequence among all of its possible subsequences. So we have this here, and the difference is 1, 3, 2, 2, 2, because 3 and 2 are the biggest difference. The biggest here. So what would this be? Output 2 would be 1, 2, 3, or oh wait. Oh, difference 1, and that's the output. Okay, 1 and 2 would be the biggest difference. So we're looking for the biggest difference. So I'm thinking of like just going through each value here. So we start at 1, then we would add 3. That fails, then we drop the 1. 3, 2, 2. That fails. But we can keep the 5. We drop the 5. 2, 3. So let's start with the naive approach, right? For I. And I want to go through this just kind of like for my. Actually, we're going to be smart here and do like a proper and nums. But it's always good to start with the naive solution. So we're going to subsequence is like I'm trying to work on using more commands too. N, and we'll start at I plus 1 here. Right, because you don't want the subsequence to be itself. You want to always offset it, and then you essentially want to take the sequence. You can remove values though. Essentially you're looking for what are the two closest values that have the max. Okay, I actually have a solution. I think I see in my head. If we have the frequency of every single value, we start from the most expensive one and look to see if it has one that is bigger. If we have, let's say we have like this, for example. We have like 2. This is the left would be the value and the frequency on the right. We have 3 2s, like 1. We have 2 of those. So then what happens here is that we will look at the 2 and then see if there's a 1 difference, and then that would be the return. And we'd find the first one that has a 1 difference. Actually, that would be the way I do it. So yeah, we're gonna use a counter, which is from the collections, and we'll just count equals counter of nums, and then for val 3 in count dot items, we want to get the first and then the second. Yeah, we can get the last equals none, and then if last equals none, uh, it's going to be last is going to equal val and freak, and then we'll just continue here. And then result is going to equal 0, and we'll just set result to, for now, so the result is 0. Okay. Because if there's one value, then result will be 0. So if not, then we look at the if last of 0 minus val equals 1. That means that they are a difference of 1. We would do freak plus last of 1 as the result. Turn result. So let's go through this. So we have a counter first, and then we take the last value of and set it to none. Just kind of could be done better, but for now it's okay. Then we have the result, which is going to get returned, and the last represents the last scene. It's kind of like I think it's maybe better if we put it here just because it's closer to the for loop. So last equals none. Then for each value and frequency and count, we see if last equals none. That means we haven't seen anything yet. Last equals val and freak, and then we continue. And then if the last scene, the change these all. Equals, we have to set we have to update last scene, by the way, and we should probably break here as well. So if the last scene is a difference between one of the current value, well, this is actually wrong. This is assuming this is sorted. We have to sort the counter on the items of the, you have to sort them on the frequency. So let's sort these on the frequency really quick. Counts sorted. I think about doing this. So it's a iterator. So we probably want to do. This is not an easy, by the way. I mean, it is easy, but a little bit more than easy for sure. Probably have to do like val freak or val freak in count dot items, and then counts sorted dot sort, which the key will be the lambda. Maybe there's an easy way to do this. Lambda x of 1. So now we use this. And we're actually going to reverse this as well. So we start at the back, the greatest value frequency. And I feel more confident with that. Okay, let's submit it. Let's see what happens, or run it. and get 0 for everything. That's okay. Um, let's see what counts sorted is returning. 2, 3, 3, 2. That looks good. So then for each we get 2 and 3. Oh, it's the apps here actually. I'm actually gonna sort it on this. I'm gonna sort it on the first value, and then we don't even need to reverse it anymore. And then we're actually gonna set results actually gonna be a max here. Gonna be the result of, yeah, and last scene equals, yep. So what we're doing here is we're actually getting the result. Instead of loop quitting too early, we have to go through every single value, and we should order based on the value, not the frequency. Yeah, I feel confident about that. I'm actually gonna submit here. Oh, it's not gonna, printing might screw it up. Yeah, it's a little bit slower because the print, but if I remove the print, it's still pretty slow. But the complexity is sorting. I don't think you get around that. Let's look at some solutions. I don't think anybody's. Yeah, everyone's sorting here. Looks like it was a cleaner solution than I was, but that's the kind of solution. So I'm kind of getting these in my head just to get better at kind of speaking these problems through. But essentially, what we have here is we set a counter, we get the result and the last scene, and then the results the value return. Last scene is the last value seen in the array that we compare for if they're difference. Um, then we do this like count sorted, which is a way to get this items values into like an array. There might be a better way to do this. Then we sort it. And then for each value that we sort, we just, if the last scene is none, so the first value, we can actually delete that line by doing counts. We could do counts sorted of 0. And then that fixes that. So we can delete that kind of line of code, which was a little whatever. So that makes it a little bit shorter. And then if the value of the last scene value and the current value is equal to 1, the absolute value, the difference essentially, we add those values and see if their frequency is greater than the result frequency. If not, we just continue and set the last scene, update the last scene value, and return the result. And we update that code. It should be counts sorted. Looks good. That's Leetcode question 594 in the books. Thank you.